He points it at you, not metaphorically, not from a distance, not from the safety of an artistic remove where you can appreciate the concept without feeling it in your chest. The hand in the canvas holds the gun barrel forward, aimed directly at the person standing in front of it. You are the target. You have always been the target. He just had the nerve to say so. This is what made Anthony Joyette inconvenient. He did not make comfortable art. He made necessary art. And there is a difference. Comfortable art decorates the wall. Necessary art changes what you see when you look away from it. Of life and death is a collage, which is itself a statement. Collage is the art form of the assembled world. Pieces from different sources, different realities, cut and placed together to reveal a truth that no single image could hold alone. He built this piece the way the gun's mythology was built, through accumulation, layer upon layer of meaning, until the object in the center of it all carries the weight of an entire civilization's contradictions. The hand holding the gun is ordinary. That is the first horror. It is not a monster's hand. It is not a stranger's hand. It is a human hand, familiar, capable, the same kind of hand that holds a child, that paints a canvas, that writes a poem, that reaches across a table towards someone you love. The hand is the point. The hand is always the point. Because without the hand, he tells us, the gun is a harmless, dead object. It is only alive when something human chooses to make it so. He had watched the gun become glamorous. He had watched it travel from frontier mythology to hip-hop iconography, to political symbol, to childhood fantasy, always glamorous, always powerful, always promising something. Security, respect, control over a world that offered Black men and Caribbean immigrants and diasporic people very little of any of those things through legitimate channels. He understood the seduction. He refused to pretend it wasn't real. But he also watched the daily news, the willful shootings, the random ones, the accidental ones, the premeditated and the self-defensive, the murders and the suicides and the tragedies that get called accidents when the grieving family needs something to call them. He watched the gun sit at the center of life in the global village like a contemporary idol, worshipped and feared with equal devotion. So he put images inside the muzzle, inside the barrel. He placed them there deliberately, inside the very mechanism of destruction. Because that is where they live in reality. Our stories, our faces, our children's faces, our neighborhoods, our futures, all of them already inside the gun's line of fire, whether we acknowledge it or not. The red spots scattered through the work are not abstract. They are wounds. They are the punctuation marks of a sentence that ends the same way every time. He had studied the European masters of still life, the vanitist tradition, objects arranged to remind viewers of mortality, of the fleeting nature of all things. He understood that tradition. He also understood that a Vincentian-born Black Canadian artist living in Montreal in the late 20th century had a more urgent version of that conversation to have. Not a skull on a table surrounded by beautiful objects, a gun in a hand aimed at you, asking you to account for your relationship to both. Good guys, bad guys. He names them both. Because Anthony had long since moved past the comfortable American mythology that assigns the gun its morality based on who is holding it. The gun aimed at you by the person who means you harm, and the gun aimed at you by the person who believes they are your protection. From where you are standing at the receiving end, the barrel looks the same. The hand is what matters, the intention behind the hand, the fear behind the intention, the system that created the fear, the history that built the system. He collapsed all of it into one image, a collage, a hand, a gun, your eyes meeting the barrel, and the reminder, quiet and devastating, that in this day and age, in every day and age, we are all either targets or victims. The only question the painting leaves open is which one we will be before the end of the story. Anthony Trevor Joyette painted this in Montreal, far from St. Vincent, speaking to a world that had not yet figured out what to do with the object it had made its icon. It still hasn't. The painting still has something to say.